In the distant future, humanity had established a thriving interstellar civilization. The United Earth Federation, a powerful coalition of human colonies, had spread across the galaxy, forging alliances with various alien species. Despite the occasional skirmish, peace reigned supreme. Captain Maria Vasquez, a seasoned officer in the Federation fleet, was stationed on the starship Valiant, patrolling the edges of known space. One quiet morning, the ship's sensors detected an anomaly deep within the Andromeda sector. A massive energy surge, unlike anything seen before, erupted from a long-forgotten planet, Elysium 9. "Captain, we're picking up strange readings from Elysium 9, reported Lieutenant Jack Henderson, the ship's science officer. "It's an ancient world, thought to be uninhabited." "Set a course for Elysium 9, ordered Maria, her curiosity piqued. "I want to know what's going on down there." As the Valiant approached the planet, the crew was met with a breathtaking sight. The once desolate world now teemed with life. Giant bioengineered beasts roamed the surface, their bodies glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light. "What in the universe?" Maria muttered. "Prepare a landing party. We need to investigate." The landing party descended through the thick atmosphere, their shuttle shaking as it cut through turbulent skies. As they broke through the clouds, the landscape of Elysium 9 unfurled below them, a sprawling jungle of bioluminescent plants and towering ancient trees. Strange, bird-like creatures soared above, their calls echoing through the dense foliage. "Touchdown in 3 minutes, announced the pilot, steadying the shuttle. "Looks like we're in for a wild ride, Captain." Maria tightened her harness and glanced at her team. Jack was busy calibrating his scanning equipment, while the Marines checked their weapons. Sergeant Davis, the team leader, gave Maria a nod. They were ready. The shuttle landed with a soft thud, and the ramp descended. Maria led the way, her boots sinking into the soft, alien soil. The air was thick with the scent of unfamiliar flowers and the distant rumble of the beasts. "Stay alert," Maria ordered, her hand resting on her sidearm. "Let's move out." Touching down on the surface, Maria, Jack, and a team of Marines ventured into the dense alien jungle. They marveled at the towering flora and fauna, unlike anything documented in the galactic archives. However, the sense of wonder soon gave way to dread as they stumbled upon the remnants of an ancient alien civilization. Ruins of colossal structures, adorned with cryptic symbols, hinted at a once great society. Vines and moss had overgrown the buildings, but the intricate carvings and metallic surfaces still shone under the jungle's dim light. "These ruins must be thousands of years old," Jack said, his voice hushed with awe. "I've never seen anything like it." In the center of the ruins lay a massive, dormant machine, pulsing with energy. Its surface was covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change as Maria's team approached. "This must be the source of the energy surge," Jack speculated, examining the machine. "It appears to be some sort of bioengineering device." Suddenly, the ground trembled. The machine roared to life, and the beasts surrounding the ruins grew agitated. One of the creatures, a towering beast with razor-sharp claws and scales that shimmered like metal, charged at the team. "Fall back!" Maria shouted, her voice steady despite the chaos. The Marines opened fire, their energy weapons barely making a dent in the creature's tough hide. Sergeant Davis aimed a high-powered plasma cannon at the beast, scoring a direct hit on its chest. The creature staggered but continued its relentless advance. Maria and her team scrambled for cover, taking refuge behind the ruins' crumbling walls. "These things are almost indestructible," Davis yelled, reloading his weapon. "What do we do, Captain?" Maria's mind raced. "Jack, can you shut that thing down?" she yelled over the din. "I'm on it," Jack responded, rushing to the device. He began to interface with the machine, his fingers flying over the alien controls. Strange symbols lit up on the screen as he worked, their meanings inscrutable but their patterns becoming clearer. The beast lunged at the team, its claws ripping through the ancient stone. The Marines fired in unison, trying to hold it back. Just as hope seemed lost, Maria noticed a pattern in the beast's movements. It was protecting the machine. "Focus your fire on its head," she ordered. "Distract it from Jack." With a final desperate push, Maria and her team managed to distract the beast long enough for Jack to deactivate the machine. The creature let out a deafening roar and collapsed, lifeless. "We did it," Jack panted, wiping sweat from his brow. "The machine's offline." "Let's get back to the ship," Maria said, her eyes scanning the horizon for any more threats. "We need to report this to Federation Command." As they made their way back to the shuttle, the jungle seemed to settle. The beasts, once restless and aggressive, now moved away, as if the threat had been neutralized. But Maria couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface of a much larger mystery. The Valiant lifted off from Elysium 9, the team safe but shaken. Back on the bridge, Maria immediately called for a full debrief with her senior officers. They gathered in the Situation Room, the eerie glow of the planet still visible through the viewport. "Lieutenant Henderson, give us a rundown of what we found," Maria said, settling into her chair. Jack stood, activating a holographic display of the machine and the ruins. "The device we encountered appears to be a bioengineering artifact. It has the capability to create and control those creatures we saw. I believe it's part of a network of similar machines across Elysium 9. "How many of these machines are there?" Maria asked. "Our initial scans indicate at least a dozen, spread out in a grid-like pattern," Jack replied. "If they are all activated, we could be facing an army of those beasts." Maria frowned. What was their purpose? Why create such monsters? "I've been analyzing the symbols we recorded," Jack continued. "This ancient civilization, whoever they were, seemed to have used these creatures as a form of defense or perhaps as a means of waging war. The energy surge we detected was likely the result of the primary control unit coming online after millennia of dormancy." "Which means there could be more surges," Maria concluded, "and more creatures." "Exactly," Jack said. "We need to deactivate all the machines before they can fully activate." Just then, the comm system chimed. "Captain, incoming transmission from Federation Command," said the comm officer. Maria nodded and accepted the call. Admiral Thorne's stern face appeared on the screen. "Captain Vasquez, I received your preliminary report. This situation is more dire than we anticipated." "Yes, sir. We've identified multiple bioengineering devices on Elysium 9. We believe they are capable of creating an army of those creatures," Maria explained. "Understood. I'm dispatching a fleet to assist. Your orders are to secure the planet and gather any intelligence you can. We need to understand the full extent of this threat," Thorne said. "Yes, sir," Maria replied. "We'll begin operations immediately." As the transmission ended, Maria turned to her officers. "You heard the Admiral. Prepare for a full-scale operation. We'll divide into teams and deactivate those machines. Lieutenant Henderson, you'll lead the technical team. Sergeant Davis, you'll oversee security." "Yes, Captain," Davis and Jack responded in unison. "Dismissed. Let's get to work," Maria ordered. The Federation fleet arrived in force, a vast armada of warships and research vessels. Among them was the Titan, the flagship of the fleet, commanded by Admiral Thorne himself. The sight of the colossal vessel instilled a mix of awe and reassurance in Maria and her crew. They knew the presence of the fleet meant they had the best support possible, but it also underscored the severity of the threat they faced. "Captain Vasquez, report to the Titan immediately," came Thorne's voice over the comm. Maria made her way to the Titan in a swift shuttle ride, the sleek craft zipping through the cold expanse of space towards the imposing battleship. Upon boarding, she was directed to the Strategic Operations Center, a hive of activity where officers and analysts worked tirelessly to interpret the data streaming in from Elysium 9. Admiral Thorne stood at the center of the room, a holographic display of the planet rotating slowly before him. He turned as Maria approached, his expression as serious as ever. "Captain Vasquez, I'm glad you're here," Thorne said, motioning her to join the circle of officers around the holo table. "We have a lot to discuss." Maria nodded and took her place, quickly summarizing the situation on Elysium 9 and the presence of the bioengineered machines. Thorne listened intently, his eyes narrowing as he processed the information. "We've detected more of these machines scattered across the planet," Thorne said, pointing to various locations on the map. "Our priority is to secure and study them. We need to understand their full capabilities and the extent of the threat they pose." "Understood, sir," Maria replied. "But we need to be prepared for more of those beasts. They seem to be directly linked to the machines, and shutting one down only seems to awaken another. Thorne nodded gravely. That's why we brought new weaponry specifically designed to combat bioengineered threats. Your crew will be among the first to test them. These weapons include high-intensity plasma cannons, reinforced energy shields, and advanced combat drones. The hollow table displayed the new arsenal, each piece of equipment glowing with a digital outline. Maria's eyes widened at the sight. These advanced weapons could indeed turn the tide in their favor. Captain Vasquez, you'll lead the ground assault, Thorne continued. Your mission is to deactivate the machines and secure any data you can find. We'll provide support from orbit and handle any large-scale threats. Yes, sir, Maria said, her mind already racing with strategies. We'll need to coordinate closely to ensure the machines are deactivated simultaneously to prevent any from going online. Thorne nodded. Agreed. We'll set up a command network to coordinate our efforts. Time is of the essence. The fleet's landing parties firing spread out across Elysium 9, each tasked with securing a different machine. Maria's team was assigned to a particularly large and heavily guarded site. The journey through the jungle was arduous, the dense foliage and rugged terrain slowing their progress. As they approached their target, the ground erupted with creatures, more fearsome than the last. The new weapons proved effective, but the sheer number of beasts made the battle a grueling ordeal. Hold the line, Maria shouted, her plasma rifle. We can't let them overrun us. Despite their efforts, the team was pushed back, forced to take refuge in the ruins. From their vantage point, Maria noticed something alarming. The machines were not just activating. They were communicating with each other. Jack, we need to shut down the entire network, Maria said. Can you do it? I'll need access to the central hub, Jack replied. It's heavily guarded. Then we'll create a diversion, Maria decided. Team, on me. Under the cover of darkness, Maria's team launched a daring assault on the central hub. They fought their way through waves of beasts, their new weapons cutting through the creatures with brutal efficiency. The plasma cannons seared through the creatures' tough hides, while the energy shields deflected their deadly attacks. The combat drones buzzed around, targeting the beasts with pinpoint accuracy. Reaching the hub, Jack hacked into the system, his fingers moving with a speed born of desperation. Almost there, got it. The machines across the planet powered down simultaneously, the beasts collapsing lifelessly. The silence that followed was almost deafening, a stark contrast to the chaos that had engulfed them moments before. We did it, Maria said, her voice filled with relief. The machines are offline, but their victory was short-lived. Alarms blared across the comm system. Captain, we're detecting a massive energy buildup beneath the surface, came the urgent message from the Valiant. Something big is coming. From the depths of Elysium 9, a colossal creature emerged. Unlike the others, this beast was fully sentient, its eyes glowing with intelligence and malice. It was the Leviathan, the ancient guardian of the bioengineered army. All units fall back, Maria ordered. We can't fight that thing here. The fleet in orbit opened fire, but the Leviathan scales deflected their attacks. It retaliated with devastating energy blasts, crippling several ships. We need a new strategy, Thorne said, his voice calm despite the chaos. Captain Vasquez, I believe you have the skills to lead this fight. With the fleet's remaining ships, Maria devised a plan to lure the Leviathan into a trap. Using the Valiant as bait, they drew the beast towards a canyon lined with explosives. Keep it coming, Maria shouted, piloting the Valiant with precision. Just a little closer. At the last moment, the Valiant veered away and the explosives detonated. The Leviathan was engulfed in a massive explosion, its roars echoing across the planet. Direct hit, came the cheer from the fleet. But the Leviathan emerged from the smoke, wounded but still alive. We're not done yet, Maria said, her jaw set. Prepare for another pass. The initial assault on the Leviathan had only temporarily subdued the beast. The situation grew even more urgent as seismic activity around Elysium 9 intensified, signaling that the Leviathan's awakening was destabilizing the planet. It was clear that defeating the Leviathan would require a coordinated effort of both ground and space forces. We need to hit it where it hurts, Maria said. gathering her team for a strategy session. The Leviathan is linked to the central hub. If we can disrupt its control systems, we might have a chance to bring it down for good. Captain, that hub is heavily fortified, Jack said, pulling up schematics of the ancient ruins. But there's a weak point, an energy conduit running directly beneath the main structure. If we can overload it, we could cause a chain reaction that might incapacitate the Leviathan. How do we get to it? Sergeant Davis asked, his face set in determination. We'll need a diversion, Maria replied. A full frontal assault to draw the creatures away while a smaller team infiltrates the hub and plants the charges. The plan was set into motion immediately. The Valiant and several other ships provided aerial support, strafing the jungle with precision strikes to thin out the Leviathan's defenses. On the ground, Maria led a strike team directly towards the central hub, their new weapons proving invaluable against the relentless bioengineered beasts. As the main assault raged, Jack and a squad of engineers worked their way through the ruins, carefully avoiding detection. The ancient corridors were narrow and winding, filled with traps and the remnants of the civilization that once thrived here. Stay sharp, Jack whispered as they neared the energy conduit. We only have one shot at this. Reaching the conduit, Jack quickly set to work, planting the explosives. His hands moved deftly, despite the sweat pouring down his face. The ground above them shook violently as the Leviathan fought against the fleet's bombardment. Charges are set, Jack said, his voice tight with concentration. Let's get out of here. The team made a hasty retreat, the walls of the ancient structure shaking as the Leviathan's roars grew louder. Once they were clear, Jack detonated the charges. The ground beneath them heaved as the conduit exploded, sending a shockwave rippling through the ruins. Above ground, Maria watched as the Leviathan staggered, its movements growing sluggish. It's working, she shouted into her comm. All units, concentrate your fire on the Leviathan now. The fleet unleashed everything they had, targeting the Leviathan with a relentless barrage of energy blasts and missiles. The beast's once impenetrable scales began to crack under the sustained assault. Captain, we're detecting a significant drop in the Leviathan's energy output, reported Lieutenant Henderson, but it's not down yet. We need to finish this, Maria said, her voice resolute. Prepare the Valiant for a direct attack. We'll take it down ourselves if we have to. The Valiant swooped in low, dodging the Leviathan's desperate attacks. Maria guided the ship with precision, weaving through the beast's flailing limbs. Target its head, she commanded. That seems to be its control center. The Valiant's forward cannons charged up, releasing a concentrated beam of energy that struck the Leviathan squarely between the eyes. The beast let out a final, earth-shattering roar, its body convulsing as the energy from the hub surged uncontrollably through its system. With a deafening crash, the Leviathan collapsed, its massive form disintegrating into dust. The ground beneath Elysium 9 trembled one last time before falling silent. Status report, Maria called out, her heart pounding. Leviathan neutralized, came the reply from Lieutenant Henderson. All systems stable. The planet is secure. Cheers erupted across the comm channels as the realization of their victory set in. Maria allowed herself a moment of relief, her eyes scanning the horizon where the ruins of the ancient civilization lay still and silent. Captain Vasquez to Admiral Thorne, she said, opening a channel to the Titan. Mission accomplished. The Leviathan is no more. Excellent work, Captain, Thorne's voice came through, filled with pride. You and your team have done humanity a great service today. As the fleet regrouped, Maria took a moment to reflect on the battle. They had faced unimaginable horrors and triumphed against all odds. But she knew that this victory was only the beginning. The secrets of Elysium 9 and the ancient civilization that once thrived there held many more mysteries, and humanity would need to uncover them to ensure their continued survival. For now, though, they had earned a moment of respite. As the sun set over the alien landscape, Maria stood with her crew, their spirits high and their resolve stronger than ever. They had faced humanity's last stand against the ancient bioengineered beasts and emerged victorious, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy had in store. With the Leviathan defeated, the immediate threat seemed to be over. However, Maria knew that the remnants of the ancient bioengineering network could still pose a danger. There were still machines scattered across Elysium 9, and their potential to create more creatures was a risk they couldn't afford to ignore. The fleet regrouped in orbit, conducting extensive scans to ensure no further activity from the machines. Maria and her team returned to the Valiant, their relief palpable, but their determination unshaken. The planet's surface was still teeming with the remnants of the bioengineered army, now inert but still menacing. "Captain Vasquez, we've identified several more machines that need to be deactivated," Jack reported, pointing to various locations on the holomap. "We need to ensure they can't be reactivated." "Agreed," Maria said. "We'll split into smaller teams and take them out simultaneously. We can't risk any more surprises." The teams were assembled and briefed. Maria led the first team, targeting a machine nestled deep within a labyrinthine cave system. Sergeant Davis led the second, aiming for a device hidden in the heart of a dense, bioluminescent forest. As they descended to the surface once more, Maria's team made their way through the winding caves, their path illuminated by the soft glow of alien crystals embedded in the walls. The air was thick and heavy, the silence only broken by the occasional drip of water echoing through the tunnels. "Stay sharp," Maria whispered, her weapon at the ready. "We're getting close." They reached the cavern where the machine lay dormant, its surface covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift in the dim light. Jack immediately got to work, his fingers dancing over the alien controls. "Just a few more seconds," he murmured, his concentration intense. Suddenly the cave rumbled, and the ground beneath them trembled. From the shadows, a smaller, more agile bioengineered beast leaped at them, its eyes glowing with a predatory gleam. "Incoming!" Maria shouted, firing her plasma rifle. The team sprang into action, their weapons lighting up the cavern as they fought off the creature. The battle was fierce, but brief. Their new weapons proved more than a match for the beast. "Got it," Jack exclaimed as the machine powered down. "One down, several more to go." The simultaneous assaults on the remaining machines went off without a hitch. Each team reported success, the machines deactivated, and the creatures they spawned rendered harmless. The network was finally dismantled, and Elysium 9 was secured. Back on the Valiant, Maria and her team gathered on the bridge, exhaustion and relief etched on their faces. The comm system crackled to life with a message from Admiral Thorne. "Captain Vasquez, you and your team have performed admirably. The threat has been neutralized, and Elysium 9 is secure. The Federation owes you a great debt." "Thank you, Admiral," Maria replied, her voice steady despite the weight of the recent battles. "It was a team effort. We couldn't have done it without the support of the fleet." "As we speak, scientists and researchers are preparing to study the ruins and the technology we've encountered," Thorne continued. "There is much we can learn from this ancient civilization. Their knowledge could greatly benefit the Federation." Maria nodded. "Understood, sir. We'll assist in any way we can." The crew of the Valiant was granted a brief respite as the fleet set up a research station on Elysium 9. Maria took the time to reflect on their journey, the battles they fought, and the friends they lost. The victory was bittersweet, but it was a necessary step for humanity's survival and growth. Standing on the observation deck, Maria looked out at the planet below. The ancient ruins, now silent, held the promise of new discoveries and advancements. The bioengineered beasts that once threatened them were now a reminder of their resilience and determination. "Captain, you should get some rest," Jack said, joining her at the viewport. "I will," Maria replied, a small smile on her lips. "But not just yet. I want to remember this moment." Jack nodded, understanding. "We did good, Maria. We faced an unimaginable threat and came out stronger." "Yes, we did," Maria agreed. "And we'll be ready for whatever comes next." As the sun set over Elysium 9, casting long shadows over the ancient structures, Maria felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced humanity's last stand against the ancient bioengineered beasts and emerged victorious. The future was uncertain, but she knew they would face it together, stronger and more united than ever. The fleet, now orbiting a safer Elysium 9, began preparations for the next phase of their mission, understanding and harnessing the advanced technologies of the ancient civilization. Maria and her crew, having earned their moment of peace, looked forward to a future where humanity could thrive and explore the mysteries of the galaxy with newfound confidence and strength.